Early today, I buried 6 objects in the old cemetery.
In the cemetery?
Yes, we have to prove our bravery, don't we? Anyway, the first one to bring back 3 of those objects wins this crazy compact, complete with rhinestones and trick mirror, donated by Terry.
Hey, yeah, but where do we look? We can't dig up the whole cemetery, and by night yet.
No, I'm going to give you a clue. Now, you find the first object. Where the moon shines most bright, you will find an object white.
I know where to look. Well, then I'll follow you.
You can pass the shovels now. When I say go, you light out fast. Now, it's 8:20 now. Your time limit is 1 hour. Everybody be back here by 9:20. Go!
But, baby, why here?
I like this atmosphere.
Terry, will you level with me? Why here?
Silly, I told you I'm on a scavenger hunt.
What do you have to bring back, a body?
No, we just have to dig up some objects.
Well, count me out.
Will you stop shivering? The kids often date here.
Tab and I thought we were going to go to a Halloween party, but a scavenger hunt in the cemetery? No, I've had it. I'm cutting out.
Nancy, what did you do to your... Why, Nancy, what's come over you? I can't find anything here. Nancy, did you...
Hi. Well, isn't a cold fish from the party? Still a social type. Come here, honey. I'm not going to hurt you. You're pretty strong. Okay, I didn't say anything. I'm leaving right now. Never come across anyone quite like you. Can't be! Get away from me! Get away from me! No, get away from me!
Now we have 3 murders all alike. Must be the work of the same killer. What do you make of it, Doc?
Go along with you this far. The symptoms are identical. 2 incisions of the jugular vein.
Well, is the killer human or animal?
Well, I can't commit myself yet.
You shut me up fast the first time, but I tell you, this second killing fits in with what I was trying to tell you.
Look, according to you, we ought to start a witch hunt. Search for a Dracula. Search only in the moonlight. Protect all possible victims with garlic leaves. Or maybe dig up a couple of rows of corpses and drive wooden stakes through their hearts so they'll stay buried. Isn't that what the legend prescribes? You can't laugh away murder. I'm not trying to. I don't intend to.
But the way it happened, where it happened.
Look, let's go about this in a logical, routine manner. What was the motive?
Well, it's not robbery. No evidence of assault. It doesn't seem like vengeance. These teenagers had no enemies.
Well, none that we know of, that is.
Well, then it's definitely the work of a paranoid. Somebody with a compulsion neurosis to kill. In my book, that means another attempt will be made.
A psychopathic killer feels superhuman. He thinks of himself as above.
Why himself? There was certainly no clues pointing to the sex of the killer.
That's right.
Maybe within the school itself. We better re-question every girl on that scavenger hunt. If necessary, every girl in the school.
The lieutenant will see you now, Nancy.
Go ahead, dear.
Come in. Sit down, Nancy. Now, we know you want to tell us the truth. This lie detector will help us to evaluate your answers. The polygraph pens don't lie. Now, Nancy, to set your mind at ease, let me explain how the polygraph works. These wires carry an impulse to the machine, which registers through the pens on this graph paper. The pens move according to the impulses they receive from your body. That way, we obtain a picture as to whether your statements are true or false. Start the machine, will you? For example, Nancy, what's your full name?
Nancy Perkins.
The pen registered a normal impulse. That indicates you told the truth. Now I want you to tell me a lie. What's your full name?
Eleanor Banks.
There. See the difference in the sweep of the pens? That indicates you didn't tell the truth. That's all there is to it. Now, let's get down to business. How old are you, Nancy?
18.
How long have you been attending the Sherwood School?
About 6 weeks.
Do you like the school?
Yes.
Now, tell us in your own words, as best you can, exactly what you did on Halloween night.
Well, we were told to look for 6 objects in the old cemetery, and each of us was given a small spade to dig with.
Did you find anything?
Not at first,
Well, go ahead. Tell us how you went about the scavenger hunt.
I was trying to find the first object,
Yes?
and then I saw Terry lying on the ground, and next to her was Tab.
Did you see anyone strike either of them?
No, sir.
Did you touch either of them?
No, sir.
What happened after you saw both bodies?
Well, the other girls came running, and they saw the bodies too, and we just stood there. All of us just stood there. We were too frightened to move.
Thank you, Nancy. That'll be all. And the polygraph indicates you told the truth.
I take the girls back to school now, Lieutenant?
Yes, and thank you very much. That's an interesting necklace, especially the pendant. An antique, I suppose.
It's definitely an antique. I'm not the type for costume jewelry. It's a keepsake. Of no value at all, except to me.
I can see you treasure it very highly by the strong chain you wear it on.
Will you also want to question the teachers?
Yes, but we'll let you know when. Goodbye, and thanks again.
Come in. Nancy.
Miss Branding, I'm frightened. You've got to help me. You must tell me, Miss Branding. Who am I? What am I doing? I'm living a nightmare. A horrible urge comes over me. I feel a strength that's almost frightening. It takes possession of me. I must do something awful, but when I try to remember, all I can see is you. I've got to know, Miss Branding.
You will. And when you know the whole truth, when you realize the part that you've played in saving mankind from his own destruction, you'll be proud.
But in the meantime, what I do, what you make me do, I feel it's wrong.
Wrong? Who's the judge of that? There's as much merit to one side as to the other. The final result will justify everything. Go back to class. Empty your mind of doubts or misgivings. Remember, the deed and the responsibility are mine.
Your responsibility. Like master and slave?
Like brain and arm. Put it out of your mind. Go on, Nancy. Go back to class. I came as soon as I got your message.
Thank you, Miss Branding. Oh, I need your help desperately, and I know I can trust you. I'm also trying to control my nerves, but it is extremely difficult. You see, you might say that Sherwood School is under bombardment. Everything I've worked for, built up with love and patience, being destroyed because of these dreadful tragedies. A dozen students have been pulled out of school by parents and guardians in the last 2 days. And the state supervisor threatens to close Sherwood.
I know how you feel, Mrs. Thorndike. Please call on me. Anything I can do, anything.
Thank you, Miss Branding. Now, I want you to take over some of my administrative duties, which will leave me free to talk to parents, to reporters, to keep down hysteria until the police catch this fiend, this monstrous killer.
Of course, of course.
As long as I have a chance, I must keep on fighting to save the school.
I'll help in any way I can. Myra, come in.
I came as soon as I got your note, Miss Brandon.
Mrs. Thorndike wants me to take over some of her administrative duties, so I won't have time for class. I want you to substitute for me tomorrow. Just review what we've studied so far and correct all the papers.
Yes, Miss Branding. Are you experimenting on your own again?
Yes, I had to check some details. When you transform power from one substance to another, from a lower sphere to a higher sphere, you have to be sure. Good night, dear. I know you'll make a good substitute.
But I'll never be the teacher you are, Miss Branding. Good night.
Good night.
Nancy.
Oh, Glenn.
I'm sorry if I frightened you, baby, but I've been waiting here for hours.
What are you doing here?
Well, I had to see you. I borrowed Dad's car, and I cut 2 classes and made the 300 miles in less than 6 hours. Aren't you glad to see me? Nancy, are you all right? All the papers are full of scare headlines about Sherwood School, and with this fiend running loose, I was nearly out of my mind worrying about you. I just had to see you.
I'm all right, Glenn. I'm perfectly all right.
Well, how would I know that? One letter from you the first week, and then after that you stopped writing. Nobody crams that much. Nancy, is there anything wrong?
No, of course not.
I mean between us.
No, Glenn.
Let's go someplace where we can talk, Nancy. I tried to see you earlier, but I couldn't get by Miss Branding. She's a real creep. She said no visitors allowed. I asked her, what are you running here, a dungeon? And she practically tossed me out.
Because of what happened, they're very strict, that's all.
Where can we go, Nancy?
I don't know, Glenn. I don't know any place that's safe.
You do not know why you came here tonight. It was because I wished you here.
Why? Isn't Count Alucard?
I wished you here to warn you. The angel of death hovers over a great house. I see it in ruins. Weeds, vines growing over it. Bats flying in and out the broken windows.
But I want to know of Count Alucard. Is he coming? Do you hear me? Do you hear me, Queen Zimba?
Alucard is not his name. You must stop him before it is too late. Stop him before death comes to Dark Oaks.
Tell me if he is coming tonight.
I see you marrying a corpse, living in a grave. I see...
I told you not to come here again, Frank. I'm sorry.
Please, Kay, I've got to talk to you. Kay, I must know what this is all about. I know that you and Alucard are meeting secretly. I followed you tonight. I don't know where you went because I lost you, but...
We went to Mr. Kirby's. And we're married.
Married? No, you couldn't have.
I told you before, we were married tonight.
You'll save us all a lot of unpleasantness by going back to town with me tonight and taking the first train out in the morning.
I'm afraid I do not understand.
Then I'll make it clear. You're going back to town with me tonight. In the morning, you'll take the first train out. Kay will have the marriage annulled, and if you try to stop her or show up in this part of the country again, you'll be jailed.
that you, Alma?
My name is Norma Borden, Doctor.
I thought you were my assistant. How did it happen?
An oil lamp exploded in my face.
How long ago?
Almost 4 years.
Why has the condition been neglected?
Plastic surgery costs money. I have none. But then I heard of your work.
It's no time for tears.
Look what your operation did for me. Now you can laugh at those men.
The only thing I can do is get you back to the hospital as quick as possible in hope they believe my story.
But I'm not going backward!
You certainly are.
Doctor, wait, there's no need for me to be doctor now!
Let me make one thing clear to you, Norma. Whatever the reason for your being committed to the hospital, my operation in your face didn't use you.
I want her back!
Now, just take it easy. The chances are with a new face, you'll respond to treatment and be out of there in a short time. You must go back!
These monsters are as stupid as human beings.